Have you ever carried a burden so heavy that it followed you into the night and woke you up in the morning? A longing so deep it seemed impossible to ever be fulfilled. If that's you, then today's story will encourage your soul. It's the story of Hannah, a woman whose desperate prayer changed her life, and ultimately, the course of Israel's history. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Renewed Mind 369, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a message of hope and inspiration. It is in 1 Samuel chapter 1 where we meet Elkanah, a man with two wives. One was named Peninnah, who had children, and the other was Hannah, who had none. This caused conflict in the household as Peninnah mocked Hannah daily. Every year at the appointed time, Elkanah took his family to Shiloh to worship the Lord and offer sacrifices. As was customary, some of the meat not offered for sacrifice was divided among the family. When it came time to divide the portions of food, Elkanah gave Peninnah and her children portions, but to Hannah he gave a double portion because he loved her deeply. Yet even his love couldn't ease her pain. Peninnah was jealous and instead of showing compassion, continued to taunt Hannah, mocking her because she could not have children. Year after year, this left Hannah brokenhearted, to the point where she wept and refused to eat. Maybe you know that kind of pain. Maybe you've smiled on the outside while carrying emptiness on the inside. Maybe you've been taunted by the enemy's voice whispering, "You'll never have what you're praying for." One year after a meal at Shiloh, Hannah couldn't take it anymore. She rose and went to the house of the Lord. Deeply distressed, she wept bitterly and prayed. That day she made a vow, saying, "Lord Almighty, if you will look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever touch his head." Her lips moved, but her voice was silent. Seeing her, Eli the priest thought she was drunk. He scolded her, but Hannah replied, "I am not drunk, my Lord. I am a woman deeply troubled. I have been pouring out my soul before the Lord." Eli's heart softened. He said, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant you what you have asked of him." And in that moment, Hannah's countenance changed. She left, no longer downcast, because she had left her burden in God's hands. In time, the Lord remembered Hannah. She conceived and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him." When Samuel was weaned, Hannah kept her vow. She brought him to the house of the Lord in Shiloh. Imagine how difficult it must have been, finally holding the son she prayed for, only to give him back. Yet she remembered her promise. She told Eli, "I am the woman who stood here praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child and the Lord granted me what I asked. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord." And Samuel grew up to become one of Israel's greatest prophets, proof that Hannah's sacrifice was not in vain. In 1 Samuel chapter 2, Hannah prayed again, but this time it was a prayer of praise. She declared, "My heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high. The Lord brings death and makes alive. He brings down to the grave and raises up. He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap." Hannah's prayer reminds us that God is not just the one who sees our tears. He is the one who turns them into triumph. Maybe you've been praying for years and it feels like nothing is happening. Maybe you're surrounded by voices that remind you of what you lack. But like Hannah, you can take your pain straight to God. You don't need fancy words, you just need an honest heart. God has not forgotten you. If he remembered Hannah, he will remember you. And the very thing you've cried over may one day be the very testimony that brings glory to his name. If Hannah's story has inspired you today, I encourage you, don't give up in prayer. Keep pressing into God, because in his timing, he can turn your sorrow into joy. If this message blessed you, be sure to like this video, subscribe to Renewed Mind 369, and share it with someone who needs encouragement. And in the comments type, God remembers me as a declaration of faith. Remember this: God hears, God sees. And just like Hannah, your breakthrough is on the way.